The charade. Captain Nora Yamamoto maintained her carefully practiced expression of humble gratitude as she stood before the Galactic Consortium's High Council. 50 alien representatives looked down upon her from their elevated positions in the vast chamber, most wearing expressions that ranged from condescension to outright pity. The human petition for acceptance as a full-member species is hereby denied, announced Grand Arbiter Zex Taylor, his crystalline form refracting light in patterns that indicated finality. Earth will remain a developmental protectorate for another standard cycle. Your species' technological progression remains inadequate. We understand, Grand Arbiter, Nora replied, bowing deeply. Earth is grateful for the consortium's continued guidance and protection. As she left the Grand Chamber, escorted by Viridian guards whose tentacled appendages seemed perpetually poised to restrain her, Nora maintained her facade of disappointment mixed with resignation. Only when she entered the secured human embassy suite did her expression change, the mask of deference falling away to reveal sharp calculation. Verification Protocol Epsilon. She spoke to the seemingly ordinary wall. A hidden scanner confirmed her retinal patterns, DNA, and subvocal frequency. Identity confirmed, responded a disembodied voice as the wall shimmered and revealed a communications array far beyond anything the consortium believed humans capable of producing. Captain Yamamoto reporting, she said crisply. The consortium has denied our petition. Again. Director Julian Ortega's hologram materialized, his weathered face betraying no emotion despite the projection spanning 15 light-years. Expected, but always valuable to confirm their continued underestimation. 3 years we've maintained this charade, Nora sighed, rolling her shoulders to release the tension of hours spent in the performative posture of a technologically inferior species. How much longer must we play the role of galactic children? Not much longer, Julian replied, his eyes flickering as he accessed data streams. Operation Phantom Shield reaches full deployment in 18 days. Once operational, we'll have comprehensive coverage across all human territories. He studied her briefly. The Viridian Science Directorate has scheduled an inspection of Jupiter Station tomorrow. Ensure they see only what we want them to see. The usual song and dance, Nora nodded. Struggling life support systems, basic mining operations, outdated propulsion tech. Precisely. Let them continue believing we're barely managing interplanetary travel while struggling with gravitational adaptation. Later that day, Nora sat across from Calyx, the Meridian diplomat who served as Earth's official handler. His feathered crest remained mostly still, but Nora, trained to recognize the subtle micro-expressions of 12 different species, noticed the slight fluctuations that indicated curiosity. Your species continues to impress me with your adaptability, Calyx said, sipping a phosphorescent liquid from a gravity-controlled sphere. Despite your technological limitations, you've established functional habitats throughout your solar system. Nora smiled with calculated modesty. Humans are nothing if not persistent. A commendable trait, Calyx agreed, his head tilting slightly. Though I sometimes wonder why your advancement curve seems to have flattened since joining the consortium. Historical analysis shows your transition from atmospheric flight to rudimentary space travel occurred with remarkable speed. Prepared for this observation, Nora replied, perhaps we've been too focused on learning from our new galactic neighbors rather than pursuing our own innovation paths. And adapting to consortium technical standards required redirecting much of our research capacity. Calyx's tertiary eye membrane flickered, skepticism, but he didn't press further. The Tellurian representatives have requested a demonstration of your orbital defense systems tomorrow. They're quite interested in observing how you manage with such elementary shielding technology. We would be honored to demonstrate our modest capabilities, Nora replied, making a mental note to alert Earth Security Command to prepare the decoy platforms. 3 days later, Director Ortega stood in the True Command Center beneath the Atlantic Ocean floor. The vast chamber housed Earth's actual defense network, a system whose existence remained unknown to the consortium. Holographic displays showed the positions of every consortium vessel within 70 light-years of Sol. Status report, he demanded. General Marcus Way stepped forward, his uniform bearing none of the primitive insignia the consortium recognized as human military designations. Operation Facade proceeding as planned. The Tellurian inspection team observed our decoy defense platforms yesterday. They departed convinced our technology remains approximately 65 years behind current galactic standards. And Project Nightfall? Ready for deployment at your command, Director. The quantum infiltration nodes have been distributed throughout all consortium communication relays in our sector. Once activated, they'll provide us complete access to their secure channels while remaining undetectable by current consortium scanning technology. Julian nodded, studying the tactical display that revealed the true extent of humanity's preparedness. Hidden shipyards in the Kuiper Belt, cloaked defense platforms throughout the solar system, and phase-shifted reconnaissance probes monitoring every consortium world within reach. And our allies? He asked. The Xylorian representatives have confirmed their continued support, Wei reported. They've suffered under consortium exploitation for centuries longer than we've pretended to. Earth had been playing a dangerous game since first contact with the Galactic Consortium 18 years ago, when humanity discovered that newly contacted species were typically exploited as resource providers and scientific curiosities for generations before being granted true autonomy. They'd made the collective decision to hide their true capabilities. While the consortium believed Earth possessed barely enough technology for limited interplanetary travel, humanity had actually developed quantum communication, gravitational manipulation, and advanced defensive systems decades before first contact. The deception had been maintained flawlessly, with only a select few consortium species, those similarly oppressed, aware of the truth. Director, a communications officer called out urgently. Emergency transmission from Callisto Outpost. Julian's expression darkened. Callisto housed one of their true technological facilities disguised as a primitive atmospheric research station. Its cover should have been unbreakable. The view screen displayed the strained face of Commander Olivia Jackson. Director, we've been compromised. Tellurian warships just dropped out of quantum space and orbit. They're claiming we're developing restricted technologies in violation of consortium protocols. They're demanding immediate surrender. The revelation. The Galactic Consortium's Emergency Council convened in chaos. Representatives from 32 spacefaring civilizations argued vehemently as reports continued to flood in from across the sector. Grand Arbiter Zex Taylor struck his resonant staff against the chamber floor, the piercing tone finally bringing a semblance of order. This situation is unprecedented, he announced, crystalline form pulsing with agitation. Somehow, the humans have concealed their true technological capabilities since first contact. Our intelligence divisions have catastrophically failed us. Admiral Vasher of the Tellurian Defense Force rose from his seat, bioluminescent patterns flashing across his skin and patterns indicating extreme distress. My battle group was neutralized by technology that should not exist, he declared. Human defenses disabled 4 of our most advanced warships without destroying them, a precision we ourselves cannot achieve with current weapon systems. The question is not how they accomplished this deception, interrupted Representative Felix of the Xylorian Collective, her insectoid mandibles clicking rhythmically. The question is why they maintained this facade for so long. Unbeknownst to most present, the Xylorians had been secret allies with Earth for years, fellow victims of consortium exploitation who had recognized kindred spirits in the humans. They were studying us, Science Director Morale suggested, her gelatinous form rippling anxiously. Learning our weaknesses while we believed we were the ones observing primitive beings. Before further speculation could continue, the chamber's communication system activated without authorization. The central holographic array displayed Director Julian Ortega, now dressed in Earth's true military uniform, sleek, advanced, and bearing insignia that none in the consortium had ever seen. Counselors, he greeted them calmly. I trust you've had time to process the initial demonstration of Earth's actual capabilities. Zex Taylor stepped forward. This deception is unprecedented, Director. The consortium cannot allow. The consortium is not in a position to allow anything, Julian interrupted, his voice steel beneath silk. Your response fleet approaching Sol has been intercepted and neutralized. None of your vessels were destroyed, and all crew remain unharmed. They are being returned to consortium space under automated navigation. The chamber erupted into renewed chaos as reports confirmed his statement. Somehow, Earth had disabled an entire battle group without casualties. Impossible, Admiral Vasher sputtered. That fleet included our newest dreadnought. Its defense systems are impenetrable. Clearly not, Julian replied evenly. Now, shall we discuss the new reality, or would you prefer another demonstration? In a secure facility beneath Mount Fuji, Captain Nora Yamamoto briefed the Joint Chiefs of Earth Defense. Holographic displays showed consortium facilities throughout the sector, all now under surveillance by Earth's previously hidden intelligence network. Operation Nightfall has given us complete access to their communications, she explained. Their leadership is in disarray. Most species are demanding explanations from the High Council about how humans could have concealed such advanced technology. General Imani Okafor nodded in satisfaction. And the consortium's military response? They're preparing to send a diplomatic envoy rather than risk another confrontation, Nora reported. Our demonstration has achieved its purpose. And our allies? Asked Admiral Hiroshi Tanaka. The Xylorians have publicly declared their alliance with Earth, Nora replied. The Meridian Fringe Worlds and Vesperian Collective are expected to follow within hours. Meanwhile, in consortium space, an unmarked human vessel approached the massive orbital research station designated Nexus Prime. Unlike the ships the consortium believed humans possessed, this craft was virtually undetectable, utilizing phase shift technology that placed it partially outside normal spacetime. Inside, Commander Victor Rodriguez led a team of 16 special operations personnel through final equipment checks. Their combat suits, which would be mistaken for simple environmental protection by any who might glimpse them, contain more computing power than most consortium warships. Remember, Victor instructed, this is a precision extraction mission. The consortium has been developing dimensional phase warheads specifically designed to bypass planetary defenses. Our task is to secure the research data and neutralize the facility without casualties. His team acknowledged the orders with quiet professionalism. Unlike the diplomatic face humanity had shown the galaxy, these individuals represented Earth's true military capability, highly trained specialists with technology generations beyond what the consortium believed possible. The ship docked with Nexus Prime using access codes obtained through Project Nightfall. Station security registered them as a routine maintenance crew, their true identities masked by sophisticated biometric overrides. As they moved through the station, they remained undetected by surveillance systems designed to track beings with far less advanced stealth capabilities. In the central research hub, Lieutenant Olivia Nakamura interfaced with the station's quantum core, her neural implants, technology the consortium didn't know humans possessed, allowing direct digital communication. I'm in, she subvocalized to the team. Downloading research data. These dimensional phase warheads were specifically designed to penetrate Earth's defensive grid. So they were planning to attack us all along, Victor observed grimly. Yes, but they grossly underestimated what they'd be facing, Olivia replied as she completed the data transfer. Planting the Chimera virus now. Throughout the station, critical systems subtly rearranged their programming, creating backdoors that would render the facility's weapons research useless without alerting its operators. Back on Earth, in the newly revealed Grand Chamber of the Human Alliance, Director Ortega addressed the first open gathering of humanity's true leadership and their alien allies. For 18 years, we have maintained this deception, he stated to the assembled representatives. Not out of fear, but from strategic necessity. When we learned how the consortium treats developing species as resources to be exploited, as scientific curiosities to be studied, we made the decision to hide our true capabilities. Representative Thelix of the Xylorians stepped forward. The consortium has dominated galactic politics for millennia through technological supremacy and the careful manipulation of developing species. Today marks the beginning of a new era, one where such exploitation can no longer continue unchallenged. Admiral Tanaka activated the central display, showing the consortium fleet movements throughout nearby sectors. They're consolidating their forces, but cautiously. Our demonstration has made them uncertain. They don't know the full extent of our capabilities, and that gives us the advantage. What of our other potential allies? Asked General Okafor. Captain Yamamoto brought up a new display. 7 previously subjugated species have reached out through secure channels since our revelation. They've been waiting for someone to challenge consortium dominance. And the diplomatic front? Director Ortega inquired. The consortium has requested emergency talks, Nora reported. They're sending their highest-level diplomats. Their initial communication suggests they're prepared to offer immediate full member status and significant technological exchange. Julian smiled thinly. How generous of them, now that they realize we don't need their gifts. The gathering fell silent as the implications settled. Humanity had just fundamentally altered the balance of power in the galaxy, not through conquest or aggression, but through patience, deception, and finally, a carefully calibrated demonstration of strength. There will be those in the consortium who advocate for immediate military action, warned Representative Felix. They will see humanity as an existential threat. Let them come, General Okafor replied confidently. The Phantom Shield network is fully operational. No consortium weapon can penetrate our defenses. Director Ortega raised his hand for silence. We did not reveal ourselves to start a war. Our goal remains peaceful coexistence, but on equal terms, not as subjects. The consortium has grown complacent in its dominance, believing its technological superiority was unassailable. Our deception has shown them otherwise. He turned to face the assembled leaders, his expression resolute. For generations, the consortium has expanded by absorbing primitive species into its hierarchy, controlling their development and extracting their resources. Today, that pattern ends. Today, we have shown the galaxy that appearances can be deceiving, and that underestimating a species, any species, is dangerous folly. As the meeting concluded, Captain Yamamoto approached a viewport overlooking Earth. From orbit, human cities showed no sign of the advanced technology they actually possessed, another layer of the deception they had maintained for so long. Was it worth it? Asked a voice beside her. Admiral Tanaka joined her at the viewport. Nora considered the question. 18 years of pretending to be less than we are? Of holding back our true potential? She smiled. To secure our freedom and change the galaxy's balance of power without firing a single shot? Yes, I'd say it was. Below them, Earth continued its serene rotation, its true capabilities finally revealed to a galaxy that had gravely underestimated the quiet, seemingly primitive species that had so humbly accepted its protectorate status. The age of deception was over. The age of humanity had begun. The new order. The neutral territory station Harmony Point hung suspended at the precise gravitational equilibrium between three star systems. Its crystalline architecture, deliberately chosen to favor no particular species aesthetic, glittered against the backdrop of distant nebulae. Inside the Grand Conclave Chamber, delegations from Earth and the Galactic Consortium faced each other across a circular table of rare metamaterial that absorbed all sound vibrations to prevent eavesdropping. Ambassador Thomas Reyes, formerly a minor diplomatic aide, but in reality Earth's chief negotiator for 15 years, studied the consortium representatives. Their body language, across 7 distinct species, betrayed a mixture of anxiety, indignation, and in some cases, grudging respect. Let us address the quantum singularity in the room, began Grand Arbiter Zex Taylor. Humanity has engaged in unprecedented deception regarding its technological capabilities. This violation of consortium transparency protocols. Transparency protocols that apply only to full member species. Thomas interrupted smoothly. Earth has never been granted such status, despite multiple petitions. We remained, by your classification, a developing protectorate, and thus exempt from those specific obligations. Director Julian Ortega, seated beside Thomas, activated a holographic display showing historical footage of consortium representatives patronizingly explaining basic technologies to human delegates who had secretly mastered them centuries earlier. In fact, Julian added, we adhered meticulously to the limitations imposed on protectorate species. We simply chose not to volunteer capabilities beyond what you asked to see. Science Director Moral's gelatinous form rippled with agitation. This technicality does not excuse hiding planetary defense systems capable of neutralizing our most advanced warships. The same warships that attacked our Callisto outpost without provocation? Captain Nora Yamamoto countered, her voice steel-wrapped in silk. Curious how quickly self-defense becomes aggression when it reveals inconvenient truths. Before tensions could escalate further, the chamber doors parted to admit new delegations. Representatives from the Xylorians, Meridian Fringe Worlds, and Vesperian Collective, all historically subjugated species, entered and took positions beside the human delegation. What is the meaning of this? Demanded Admiral Vasher, luminescent patterns flashing agitation across his skin. This summit was arranged exclusively between the consortium and Earth. Another technicality, replied Felix of the Xylorians, mandibles clicking in what her species recognized as amusement. The invitation extended to parties directly affected by recent events. As Earth's allies, we certainly qualify. Allies. Zex Taylor's crystalline form darkened. Since when have these disparate species formed alliances with humans? Ambassador Reyes smiled diplomatically. Perhaps your intelligence divisions should review their assessment methodologies. These partnerships have existed for years, just another aspect of reality you chose not to see. Throughout the exchange, Director Ortega monitored a secure feed through his neural implant. Project Nightfall continued to intercept consortium communications across the sector, revealing their true reactions to humanity's revelations. Shall we proceed to substantive matters? Thomas suggested. Earth proposes a restructuring of consortium protocols regarding species classification and technological exchange. Our analysts have prepared a comprehensive proposal. As holographic documents materialized before each delegate, Ortega received an urgent alert from Earth Defense Command. With practice control, he maintained his outward composure while processing the warning. 17 consortium battlecruisers had broken formation from their escort positions and were accelerating toward Earth, weapon systems charging. Julian discreetly transmitted a single command, Initiate Protocol Omega. Captain Yamamoto, receiving the alert through her own implant, gave no outward indication of concern as she continued detailing proposed changes to resource-sharing agreements. In near-Earth space, the approaching consortium vessels suddenly detected multiple anomalies as previously invisible defense platforms revealed themselves. Before they could react, precisely calculated graviton pulses enveloped each ship, bypassing their shields entirely and isolating their command centers. Propulsion, weapons, and communication systems shut down simultaneously across all 17 vessels. Back at the summit, a junior consortium aide rushed to Admiral Vasher, whispering urgently in his auricular membrane. The Admiral's bioluminescence shifted to patterns indicating shock and alarm. Something wrong, Admiral? Julian asked mildly. This is outrageous. Vasher sputtered. Your defense systems have just disabled an escort fleet on routine patrol. Routine patrols don't typically involve charging weapon systems and plotting attack trajectories toward inhabited planets, Nora responded, casually activating a holographic display showing the intercepted consortium battle plan. Perhaps you'd like to explain this directive surgical strike that specifically targeted our major population centers? The chamber fell silent as the implications settled. Not only had humans detected the approaching threat, but they had neutralized it without a single casualty while simultaneously conducting diplomatic negotiations. Grand Arbiter Zextaler's crystalline form dimmed to its lowest resonance, a sign of profound distress. These vessels acted without council authorization. There are factions within the consortium that believe humanity represents an existential threat. Because we refuse to remain perpetual subordinates? Thomas asked quietly. Or because we've demonstrated that your technological supremacy is not as absolute as you believed? The diplomatic summit recessed amid tense confusion. In a secure chamber adjacent to the main hall, Earth's delegation conferred with their allies. The hardliners have shown their hand, Julian observed. Too soon and too clumsily. Felix's compound eyes refracted light in complex patterns. The consortium has maintained power for millennia by ensuring no species could approach their technological level. Your revelation threatens their entire system of control. And now we have the opportunity to reshape that system, Ambassador Reyes noted. Not through conquest, but through a demonstration of a better alternative. When the summit reconvened hours later, the chamber had changed. Additional delegations had arrived, representatives from 12 more, developing species who had secretly maintained contact with Earth and its allies. The consortium delegates found themselves outnumbered for perhaps the first time in their organization's ancient history. Thomas Reyes stood at the center of the chamber, the position traditionally reserved for supplicants now symbolically reclaimed. The consortium was founded on noble principles, he began. Cooperation, mutual advancement, peace among the stars. Somewhere across the millennia, those ideals were corrupted into a system of hierarchical control. Today, we propose returning to those original values. He activated a complex holographic display showing the true technological capabilities not just of Earth, but of all the supposedly developing species present. Each had hidden aspects of their advancement, though none as comprehensively as humanity. We have all played this game of concealment, Thomas continued. Not out of malice, but out of necessary self-preservation. The consortium's pattern became clear. Any species approaching technological parity would find itself facing protective intervention or accusations of protocol violations. Grand Arbiter Zextaler rose slowly. What exactly are you proposing, Ambassador Reyes? Not the dismantling of the consortium, Thomas clarified, but its reformation. Equal representation. Technology sharing based on readiness, not arbitrary development classifications. And most importantly, an end to the practice of forcing new species into centuries of subservient protectorate status. Director Ortega stepped forward. To demonstrate our commitment to these principles, Earth will share 3 of our most advanced technologies with all members, technologies we developed in secret while pretending to struggle with basic interplanetary travel. The proposal sent shockwaves through the chamber. For thousands of years, the consortium had controlled technological dissemination with obsessive restriction. The idea of freely sharing advanced capabilities violated every tradition of their leadership caste. In the tense negotiations that followed, the galaxy's power structure began its transformation. Some consortium factions resisted fiercely, but faced with the united front of Earth and its allies, and the unmistakable demonstration of their combined capabilities, the hardliners found themselves increasingly isolated. 3 months later, the reformed Galactic Cooperative held its inaugural assembly in Earth's newly revealed Orbital Diplomatic Center. Species that had been relegated to observer status for centuries now held equal voting rights. Technology exchange protocols had been completely restructured, focusing on ethical application rather than artificial restriction. Captain Nora Yamamoto, now Admiral and Earth's Defense Coordinator, stood beside Director Ortega on a private observation deck overlooking the proceedings. 18 years of deception, she mused. Was it worth the cost? Julian considered the assembly below, where former adversaries were engaging in genuine dialogue without the shadow of hierarchical power imbalance. We could have revealed ourselves immediately after first contact, he replied, demonstrated our technology and demanded equal standing, and likely triggered an immediate conflict, Nora nodded. One that would have cost millions of lives across dozens of worlds. Instead, we waited. We learned their systems from within. We built alliances with other subjugated species. We prepared for every contingency. Julian's expression softened slightly. And when the moment came, we changed the galaxy without firing a single shot in anger. Below them, Ambassador Reyes was finalizing the cooperative's founding charter, its first principle glowing prominently. No species' worth shall be measured by its technological advancement alone. The deception is over, Nora said quietly. What comes next? Julian smiled, a rare, genuine expression rather than the calculated diplomatic mask he had worn for so many years. Truth, he replied simply. Complicated, messy, sometimes uncomfortable truth. Equal partnership instead of patronizing guidance. Genuine exchange instead of controlled dispensation. He gestured toward the stars visible beyond the station's transparent hull. And eventually, exploration of the galaxy as it should have been from the beginning, not as conquerors or supplicants, but as equals united by curiosity and mutual respect. As the new Galactic Cooperative ratified its founding charter, humanity's greatest deception came to its end. The facade of technological inferiority had served its purpose, revealing a profound truth about power in the process. True strength lies not in domination, but in the wisdom to know when to withhold it, and the courage to use it justly when the moment demands. The age of pretense was over. The age of genuine cooperation had begun.